Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for the preview of what is going to be the trickiest game of Chelsea's season. It's Champions League, last 16, knockout football now, first leg at home to the German Champions Bayern Munich, who have got an incredible squad, an incredible side with some of the best players in the world. And this Chelsea team are going to need to be at the races. We're going to need to be, as fans, even though ironically I'm 17 hours away in Bali, Stamford Bridge is going to need to be at its electric best for this one. Bayern are going to come, absolutely no fear. They've got redemption on their minds after that moment. This one, copyright strike or not, I just wanted to put it in the video. I don't care. It's the greatest moment of my life. It's probably the greatest moment of your lives as well. If you're Chelsea fans, we went there on their own turf, beat them in a final on penalties. The English club beats the German club on penalties. This fixture now has history. Doesn't matter what else is written in the future. That moment in history will be there forever. It will never be taken away from us. And this is going to be a huge one. The way this preview is going to work is first things first, before we get into anything, subscribe to the George Benson football channel. At the time of me recording this, we're about to hit 90,000 subscribers, which is like the last 10k milestone before the six-figure boys come around, the 100k, that silver YouTube plaque. I want one of those for this channel. It would be pretty special, and we're getting closer, so make sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you think Chelsea can beat Bayern Munich in this first leg. And what we're going to talk about today is the way that Bayern have played this season, what they've done very well against, the way they can be very flexible, and the one formation that they're not very good against this season, against a good club who happen to play. We'll go on to it in a moment. But let's talk about our opponents. Let's talk about Bayern Munich. There is one man who is on everyone's lips right now, Robert Lewandowski. In the Champions League, in the Bundesliga this season, he's scored more goals than he's played matches. And to show how good Bayern have been in the Champions League, we can see right now Chelsea's results versus Bayern Munich's results this season. Chelsea just about scraped through a group. Bayern Munich, yes, there was Zvezda and Olympiacos. There was also Spurs, who Bayern Munich absolutely obliterated. I remember it was Lille away when Bayern were at Spurs, and I was staying in this dodgy hotel room. Bayern Munich have just gone to the lane and absolutely demolished them. Not really thinking that that could be us in the knockout rounds, but we've now got them, and there's nothing we can do about that. But Bayern Munich in the group stage were on fire. They won 6 out of 6 matches, qualified from the group with ease, and then when Spurs went to the Allianz Arena, they could even rest their key man Lewandowski, and they stuck Ivan Perisic up front playing a 4-3-3, and they beat them 3-1. So 10 goals in 2 games against Spurs. We can rinse it now. Hopefully, touch wood, this chair's made out of like some sort of wooden thing. Hopefully it doesn't happen to us. I want to see us give it the best go we possibly can. We are the underdogs. Bayern are the stronger team with the more experience, with the players that they've got at the moment. We're still learning what's best and what's right with Frank and what isn't. So they are the favourites. This is going to take a monumental effort from Chelsea. But let's look at what Bayern do very well. So let's just get the nervous bits out the way. We can't avoid it. We know they're a good team. We're not going to sit here and say, yeah, it's going to be an easy 5-0 win. Maybe it will. I don't know, but probably not. So in the last game that Bayern Munich played, it was at home to Paderborn at the weekend. It was a tough game. They just about managed to scrape through it because they always seem to score more goals than their opponents, even when they're not defending very well. One thing that Chelsea can take into this one is that Bayern can often be a little bit susceptible to errors and mistakes in the defence. Going forward, they are absolutely mind-blowing at times. In the game against Paderborn, they played with 3 at the back. They're not going to come to Stamford Bridge and play with 3 at the back. Most of the time, they operate with 4 defenders. Sometimes it's in a 4-1-4-1. As we saw earlier this season, they played against Borussia Dortmund, used a 4-1-4-1, won 4-0. It was a little bit of a disaster for Dortmund, who have been very good this season as well. They've also got the option of the 4-3-3. They've got Benjamin Pavard, who won the World Cup with France as the right back, Alphonso Davies, who has basically made Alaba void as a left back, and he's now become a centre-back. They got multiple left-sided players playing in centre-back, which could be something we see at Stamford Bridge with both Hernandez and also Alaba playing in that centre-back position. The man, and if they play in like a 4-2-3-1, which is also something that I think they might do at Stamford Bridge, they've also got the potential of using Thomas Müller, who obviously scored that goal for Bayern Munich in the Champions League final against Chelsea. And the one thing that Müller is very good at, as well as getting assists, which he's done a lot of this season, he's always in the spaces. And when Chelsea are going forward, particularly in the formation that I think we're going to use, which we'll go into in a moment, Thomas Müller could find a lot of space at Stamford Bridge and cause Chelsea a lot of problems. So other than Lewandowski, there are 3 players that I think Chelsea really need to watch out for. Not all 3 of them might play, but I think at least least during the match at some point, tactically, Bayern can switch things up in order to make sure that these players have an impact. So Gnabry, he went to Spurs, scored 4 goals. He's having a wonderful season. Arsenal fans absolutely distraught about that, but Serge Gnabry has been brilliant this season. He's scoring a lot of goals, creating a lot of opportunities as well. He's someone Chelsea need to look out for. Not only that, we've got to be very careful about the man who's just come back from injury. He's from the French national side, Kingsley Coman, another player that has been linked with Chelsea in the past. Coman is very, very quick, and he usually starts out on the left-hand side, can cut in on his right foot as well. And Reece James or Azpilicueta, whoever's playing on the right-hand side, we'll get into that. Whoever is there is going to need to be on their game. Alphonso Davies likes to get forward as well. They've also sometimes got overlapping centre-halves as well. So Bayern love to get forward, and that left-hand side for me is where they're going to be at their absolute strongest. Now then, whether it's a 4-1-4-1, 4-2-3-1, or a 4-3-3, Bayern can often change their formation depending on what is going on with the game. So it doesn't matter what they start with, we know that if it isn't going well, they've got options and they've got different players in different positions, even from the bench, and even with the starting 11. Bayern have got the ability to adapt tactically in-game without having to make substitutions. So Chelsea know Bayern are going to come to Stamford Bridge, try and dominate the possession. That's how Bayern Munich win their football matches. They keep hold of the ball, they wear teams down, and whether it's at home or away, they know they've got the players to do so. They know that there's been a lot of times this season at Stamford Bridge where Chelsea haven't always done as much with the ball as they would have liked to. The results haven't been good enough. Bayern Munich are going to be looking at this and thinking, we know that we could go to Stamford Bridge, do something similar to what we did at Spurs, and get this tie over and done with before Chelsea even come to the Allianz. There will be an element of nerves for Bayern when Chelsea come to the Allianz Arena because of that history that we started out by outlining in this video. Bayern Munich are not going to want this tie to be in jeopardy or ambiguous when Chelsea go to Bayern Munich. They're going to want to win at Stamford Bridge. However, there is a small matter of there being another team that are going to be involved in this game, and the reason you subscribe to this channel is because we talk about them pretty much every flipping day. Chelsea. How can Chelsea beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League? That's the title of this video, and I've got an idea. And the idea is not just based off of one good performance or two good performances, against Tottenham Hotspur. Bayern Munich have had some good ones as well, but we've beaten Spurs twice. There has also been something that we've done twice in those games that has benefited us, and it's playing with 3 defenders, 3 centre-backs and then wing-backs, converting to 3-4-3, 3-5-2, whatever it is. We've been very good with that this season. We've got an 80% win percentage playing with that formation, and I look at 2 other big games that Bayern Munich have played this season, the home game and the away game against Red Bull Leipzig, another very top team in Germany. Bayern are currently 4 points clear, but Leipzig are breathing down their necks. What is the significant thing, you may be asking, about Leipzig versus Bayern Munich? Leipzig play with 3 at the back. 3-4-3 twice. Bayern have failed to beat them. It was 1-1 at Leipzig, 0-0 in Munich, which is why, if you can see the graphic on the screen now, which I'm sure you can unless I've made an editing error, 3 at the back is what we're going to go for again. And in terms of personnel, what we saw against Spurs, apart from 1 deflected error at the end of the game, I thought it was absolutely superb. Now, the key talking points are Marcus Alonso was fantastic. Reece James, fantastic. The entire centre-back line, Azpilicueta as well. I don't think I gave him as much credit as I should have done in the 6 Things We Learnt video against Spurs, so big shout out to the captain as well. But Kepa, coming back in goal for this game, it's one of those where I genuinely feel as though it's a 50-50. I thought he'd come back against United, he didn't. I thought he would then come back against Spurs, he didn't. At what point does Frank Lampard realise that there is still, despite his form, there's a £72 million goalkeeper just chilling out on the bench right now? Someone at Chelsea is going to be talking down to Frank saying, you know what, I understand you dropping Willie, and Willie had a good game against Spurs as well, so it's not a case of Caballero wasn't good enough against Tottenham, so he must be taken out against Bayern. But when you've got a goalkeeper who costs as much as Kepa does, and it looks very likely as though his career at Chelsea is probably coming to an end, he's not going to be first choice as long as Frank continues to make the decisions he's making right now. But there's going to be someone at Chelsea in the hierarchy who's going to be saying, if he doesn't play another game this season, the value that we're going to be able to sell him for come the summer is significantly going to go down. That being said, we've also seen in Europe, particularly last season against Frankfurt in the semi-finals of the Europa League, Kepa's made some big saves in European competition, and I think that giving him the gloves again for this game against Bayern Munich, I don't know if it's going to happen. It could easily be Willie again, and I wouldn't be surprised. But if Frank gives him the gloves for this game against Bayern Munich, he knows that if he can pull out all the stops and bring a performance that we know he's actually capable of, then Kepa could save his Chelsea career in almost one game, and it's going to give him the confidence to then carry on playing the same way, back in the side for the Premier League games, and you never know, Kepa might just have needed these 3 games out in the Premier League by missing the games to actually kick on and really perform to the level that we know he can between now and the end of the season. So I've put Kepa on the graphic, could easily be Willie, I've got no idea, my name's not Super Frank Lampard. So then we move forward again, and we're going to stick that wonderful midfield 2 of Mateo Kovacic, who was absolutely flawless. If you've not seen the 6 Things We Learned review from the game against Spurs, I advise you go and watch it. Kovacic was brilliant alongside Jorginho. We need Kovacic's industry. They've got a very strong, very creative, possession-based midfield, Bayern Munich. We need Kovacic to be able to win the ball back. We need him to be able to dribble. We need him to be able to take players on to transition the game for Chelsea, as well as those defence-splitting passes that we saw against Spurs that we know that Jorginho is capable of. So, going to stick those 2 in the 2. And then we got 3 more players moving forward. And this one, again, it's very injury dependent. Tammy Abraham, we saw him come on for 19 minutes against Spurs, but he was only really training at 70% before that. So I don't think he would have come on if Chelsea weren't as comfortable as we looked in that game against Spurs. So Tammy came on for minutes. Olivier Giroud was absolutely brilliant. He got the Premier League man of the match. I didn't give him the man of the match in my video, but Giroud was excellent. He's also got the experience in the big games, which for me is why I would start Olivier Giroud in this one again. We don't want Tammy to get another little knock that sees him out for more and more weeks. He's had a good season, not been in the best of form. There's been a lot of little niggles and a lot of injuries that have taken him back. I think Olivier Giroud can do a job, particularly if we look at Bayern's vulnerability against playing against 3 at the back and Chelsea's recent successes with playing 3 at the back. So Olivier Giroud starts up top, and based off of the performances that we saw from both Mason Mount and even Ross Barkley in that game against Spurs, because of injuries to Pulisic, to Kante, to Hudson-Odoi, I think we're going to see the same 2 playing behind Olivier Giroud that we saw in the game against Spurs. It's exactly the same team, apart from Kepa being back in goal. Now, obviously, Spurs had no striker. Bayern Munich have got the best striker in the world. There is going to be a very, very different element to this game. Bayern, this is knockout football now. It's not Premier League football. Bayern are going to come to Chelsea and try and play. They're going to try to come and dominate the possession, which Chelsea have been good at this season. We've just not always been effective with what we do with the possession. But Bayern are definitely going to come, most likely dominate the game. Chelsea are going to need to take their chances. Chelsea are going to need to create opportunities and exploit any errors that Bayern Munich may have at the back. Between when we played Bayern in that Champions League final, when Manuel Neuer was the best goalkeeper in the world, he's not as good now as he used to be. Again, we've got to try and make the most of that positive as well. Olivier Giroud, if he has a similar game to the way he did against Spurs, and I feel as though he knows that it's one game and Tammy still came on, Giroud knows that if he gets this opportunity, it could be a massive opportunity to really save the future of his Chelsea career, to prove that he can play a part for Chelsea moving forward. I'm not saying that if Giroud scores a hat-trick against Bayern Munich, we shouldn't be looking to improve by signing another striker in the summer. We will sign a striker in the summer, one way or another. But Olivier Giroud has got so much to offer still. I firmly believe that after seeing what he did against Spurs, and I would stick him up top again just in case Tammy Abraham picks up another injury. And I also think with that experience in the big games, Giroud could be massive for Chelsea yet again. Enough about how we're going to play, what we're going to do. This is one of those games where there's a spider. Can you see? Oh, it's an ant. What? I don't know if you can see this. I always talk and then I'll go on then, climb on the microphone, just not even paying rent, is he? Back to kind of like an emotional view of the game. It's a little bit of a free hit. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't care if we don't progress. Of course, I'm going to Munich. I don't want to be sat there in the Allianz Arena, scratching my head and wondering do I go out and drown my sorrows or do I just go home and cry into my pillow? We want to win this. We can win this. We can definitely beat Bayern Munich, and I think playing with that formation that was been very successful for us this season at times, particularly those games against Spurs. We look at Bayern Munich struggling against the 3 in the back against Leipzig. We've got to try and adopt something like that in this game, and if we do, there's no reason why we can't win. If Chelsea win this game, regardless of how many away goals Bayern Munich score, we've got a very good chance of going to the Allianz because of that psychological factor, because of the fact that away from home this season in Europe, we've been brilliant. We went to Valencia, did well, probably could have deserved to lose that one, but away at Lille and away at Ajax, I know that Bayern are a step up, but we were very good in those games, and I firmly believe we can go away from home and do the same again. So as long as Chelsea are in this tie, if we lose, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to require a Liverpool-esque comeback in order to get through into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and I don't know if Bayern Munich is a team that you can do that against. I don't know if we're going to be good enough to do that. So for this game, we've got to be cautious, but we've also got to be aware that Bayern are going to come and try and play, and I think that we need to be aware that we're probably going to need to score a goal or two in this game game at Stamford Bridge to stand any chance of going through. But anyway, that is my team. It's up on the screen again now. Bayern Munich, it's going to be tough. They're probably going to play like a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, but they've also got that tactical flexibility, a 4-1-4-1. They've got players that can come off the bench to make a difference. This is going to be hard. This is going to be one of the trickiest games of Lampard's managerial career. It's going to be one of the toughest games that some of these players have ever played in their lives. And I just hope that the Stamford Bridge crowd are going to be there in full voice. I can't be there. Going to be sat here setting an alarm to wake up at 4 in the morning to watch it. I wish I was there, but I'm not. Some things in life just can't happen the way you want them to, but this is hardly a bad alternative, so I'm not going to sit here and complain. I just want to see us give the same energy that we did against Spurs. It might not be a North London rival, but it is a rival because of their history, and it's something that we know we can actually beat this team. They're not invincible. They're 4 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. We're in 4th in the Premier League. But we can win this. And I firmly believe that if we give everything and we put everything out there, bit of luck as well, there's no reason why we can't knock them out. But anyway, let me know what you think is going to happen in this game in the comments down below. Yes, the expectation is that we're probably not going to go through. But Chelsea, in the past, when we've not been expected to win, when we've not been expected to qualify, it's when we've done the best. And I am taking that kind of mentality into this game against Bayern Munich. If we win, oh boy, that game in Munich is going to be phenomenal. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. As I said at the start of it, if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson football channel, make sure you do so. If you've got some friends that you think might like these, just drop them a little link on the old WhatsApp, get them watching, build the community up a little bit more. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this match preview. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Come on, you Blues. See you all later. Bye-bye.